Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of the Beat Review podcast. The Beat Review live stream. It's not a podcast, I don't know. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Beat Review live stream on YouTube, hosted by me, Mr. Accurate Beats. Hi. It's been 2 weeks since we did this the last time around, and time again. I just wrote this in the thing on YouTube and also on Instagram that today, it's not a rule, it's not a hard set rule or anything, but it would be really cool to have some new people coming in, submitting beats and being a part of it. So please, if you're one of the regulars, consider standing this one out. Let's leave room for new beat makers who hasn't been a part of it, because I'm getting complaints every now and then. People are like, I've been trying to submit for a couple of weeks and I can't get in. I'm sorry about that, but hey, it's not open yet. The submission form is not open. I'm going to open it up in a couple of minutes, but first, no, it's not that we have a sponsor, because we don't. I just wanted to be clear about what we are here for. What's this entire thing actually about? This is the Beat Review live stream from me, Accurate Beats. Every other week we're doing this live stream on YouTube where I listen to beats from people in the community, so anyone can submit music to me through my website, accuratebeats.com. Get into the website, go click on the Beat Review thing, and in there, you're going to find a link where you can submit a beat soon. Anyone is welcome to do it. This week, I want as many new heads as possible. We're doing this new blood kind of thing. Which means if you've submitted like weeks and weeks and weeks and you're always being played in this kind of show, that's awesome. But please, this week, if you could, not submit to leave room for someone else, that would be very much appreciated. That's what I'm saying. And the way this works, you're going to submit the beats on my website, as I said. Can't say it enough. Can't stress it enough, because it's, that's the information I have for you. You're going to be able to do so in, let me clear this folder and make room for the stuff. The plan is to do this for about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, but something like that. I'm playing 2 minutes of a track, and I'm talking about it, me and the chat room. Everyone has opinions, everyone's nice and friendly and everything. Everything is all good. But it's supposed to be me giving feedback to beats, and that is a big part of it. Now, let's see where I have this thing. It's right there. It's right there. Let's see if we have any beats. Okay. So there might be a slight delay. I'm going to empty this folder now. That gives you guys the room to fill it up with 20 more beats. It might take a couple of minutes between now and then, but now it's supposed to be open. Now it's supposed to work. From now, you should be able to submit a beat through my website, accuratebeats.com. Go to Beat Review, do the entire thing, filling out the form, writing a little message, the name of you, the name of the track, and we have 2. We have 1. My bad. I'm getting 2 files. That's, my assistant, Dirty 1200, set this entire thing up for me, so I'm getting 2 files per submission. 1 audio file and 1 text file. Doesn't matter to you. I'm just having a hard time counting. And right now we have the beats are coming in. That's what I'm saying. The beats are coming in. It feels good. Feels good. So what's right here right now, that's not accurate. That's not what it is. We are about to play some beats soon. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, everything seems to work. That's cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. So, if you haven't been a part of this for a few weeks or whatever, Dirty 1200 helped me out a lot. Give him all the love you're able to give him in the chat because he's so cool. Spending so much time making this little show of mine, or this little show of ours, better. By doing all the stuff you see on the website with the submission, and also, of course, all this. The information in this one is not correct either, but that's going to be reset soon enough. But we also have this beat review wheel. It's all very cool, very technological, but awesome and cool. If I do that, it's going to move. Okay, cool. There we are. Let's make it a little bit bigger on this one, just because. Chris52 is loving the new stuff. Thank you. And give your love to Dirty 1200. It's not me, it's him. I did a little bit, but he knows what he's doing, so he helped me out. Whatever. And I also want... Hold on. Well, we are getting into issues. Yeah, I used that cable for that instead. Shit. I can't charge my phone. Yes, I can. Haha. The phone is on charge. I just want to bring up the stream. View channel, live. There we are. I can't have enough monitors to see myself, you know. It's actually not that. It's, yeah, whatever. Here we are. Beat review. Another episode. Let's do it. Freaking stuff. Freaking awesome stuff. Freaking stuff. That's smart. Let's check the folder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 28 files. And I should be able to receive 40 because it's 2 files per submission. So it's not full yet. That's kind of crazy. I did not see that coming. Or maybe someone in the chat is going to tell me that the thing is broken. Who knows? I'm just hoping for the best. Or maybe I need to refresh it. Shouldn't have to, but let's give it a try. No, we still have... I mean, I'm not complaining. We have enough beats. I have room for 20. And so far, this is not 20. Can I sort them by file name, kind? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we have 14 beats so far. Cool. And I hope that means that we are getting some new blood in here. Some people that hasn't been played before, or a lot, or recently at least. You know. The chat room. I'm always down to hear you. Okay. I hope everyone is having a great Monday. Can't hang out today. Just stopping by to say what's up. Stormborn. Thank you for checking in. And we all miss you. You know that. You're supposed to be here. Among all the other ones. Speaking of all the other ones. Chris52. Dirty 1200. Icon74. Doomed Traveler. Hannibal Actor. Kibike. Kibabik. Vork's Shade. Charlotte Boy Swagger. DJ Productions. Atmosphere. The Observer of Thoughts. I think that's a new one. Yeah, we have a few new people hanging out, for sure. For sure. Nice guy Bry is also in the house. Cool. I sent one in just in case. Well, that's not really how it works. I have 20 spots. I can't receive more than 20 files. But that's atmosphere coming in. Cool. So we have beats. The question is if I want to load it up into the actual player before I have 20. That could be kind of messing things up. Yeah, let's just sit around and wait for a few more submissions to come in. Or something like that, at least. I hope everyone is having a good or even a great day. I've had kind of a midday, to be honest. Not too bad, not too good. Just one of those normal Mondays. Because I am in Sweden, and in Sweden right now it's 8 p.m. So I've done my entire day of working on my day job, and now we're doing this. I've had a midday, and I think the day is going to become... I think the day is going to improve by doing this. This is always such a blast. Just hanging out with you guys and listening to beats and thinking about stuff and breaking down the tracks and, telling everyone that they suck. That's what it's all about. The names and stuff fit much better in the background. In this one, I changed the font and the sizing of stuff, and I put in a little bit of work myself, just a little bit. Now we have even more stuff. I think that's 19. Let me count again. I'm messing things up. I'm such a dumbass sometimes. 1. It's actually 18. Well, I think I should be able to... I'm not sure how this works. Dirty 1200, help me out. I'm kidding. Don't help me out. It's way too late. But we are getting submissions into the form on the website, and they end up on my computer so I can play them back. And it all just seamlessly works. That's crazy about technology, that when it works, Dirty 1200 also sent in a beat just to fill the cup. Well, I don't know. Maybe that does make sense. No need to play my beat at all. It's just a filler. Well, I think that kind of calls it. I think it's time to actually load up the stuff into the player. Boom, boom, boom. And just like that, I should be ready to play the first beat. You can see the visual representation of the number of beats right here. It's not that I'm going to count it on that one, but it should be 18, 19, maybe 20. I don't know. And what's happening now is that the wheel is going to spin and pick one of the beats randomly, and that's going to be played. And then we're going to have one beat list to play. And all the beats that's been played are going to end up in this list right here. It says played beats. So that makes sense. So all the names of the artist and the name of the track is going to end up in that list. And as we listen to it, it's going to end up down here. It's all very technical, very professional. Welcome to the Beat Review podcast. Could we transition into calling this a podcast? I don't know if why is this not a podcast? Well, don't mind me and all my shenanigans and thoughts and words. Let's spin the wheel and pick the first beat for tonight. Right now. Everything works. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. The first beat, Icon 74. Drone Attack. Icon 74 has been played a lot, and he usually gets picked like last. By accident. Just randomly. Now, you have the privilege to start the show. Icon 74, Drone Attack. Let's go. Okay, I kind of fucked up. It needs to be way louder, and it's about to become way louder, so please lower the volume on your kind of device or whatever. It's going to become way louder right now. I think it makes sense to restart the track at a louder volume. Be ready. Here we go. Yeah. It's gonna play to the end. That's fine. Or is it? Okay, I can't stop it. I can't stop it. And it restarts. Oh shit. Oh shit. You know what? We're gonna have to do that instead. I still hear it though. Okay, okay. I know what to do. I know what to do. It's coming back. Yeah, I messed up. With the stuff. It's gonna be straightforward after this. I'm sure. So the track was 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and the counter kind of died on me. I don't know. Icon 74 with the first submission for today. Nice stuff. So, to me, as a first beat for the show, this sets the tone. This is high quality stuff. It sounds good. I played it back maybe a little bit loud on my headphones, but it came through like pumping. In this one, I really appreciate the balance between the frequency ranges. You know, there was a lot of bass and also a lot of everything else, and it felt like nice and compact and full. Musical, full. You know, it had kind of a vibe, a little bit dark, but still not like, yeah. Really, really cool. I like the drum sounds a lot. I think everything came through. But again, what stands out about this one is definitely the evenness of everything, without making it like flat or boring or not having personality or anything. Nothing like that. It just sounded like a nice finished thing. And all the small little like sound effects and stuff, to me, added a lot. The main like musical idea, the whole bum bum bum, it's basically a melody doing the entire thing. I could think about it as kind of a riff, you know, which makes sense, and that's cool. Everything doesn't have to be like large chords and then a melody on and whatever. Sometimes build a beat and base it off a single kind of melody or a riff. Makes a lot of sense, and that's good. But just that as a musical idea, just that without like a top line synth. I know you had one, but let's pretend you hadn't. That wouldn't be much, you know? But since you added the like synthesizer thing on top, and also all the small kind of sound effect shenanigans, that really helps break it down a lot. I'm discovering that too when I'm making beats every single day. Like, yeah, adding some small stuff like doesn't even need to be in tune. Stuff like that just breaks up the mix and makes the listener focus on something else than just the same dum 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 dum. Not that it's bad, but you know, breaking up the sonics with something like that, and also breaking up the kind of monotony of the thing is good. Good. I think this was dope. I mean, great stuff. Good work. Well done, Icon 74, and good for you being the first one to be featured today. Now let's see if I can increase the volume again. Yeah, the beat has stopped playing, which means we should be ready for the next one. I did the same thing where I had to like play it manually and stuff, which kind of messed everything up, I guess. Let's spin the wheel again and play another beat. Yeah, it spins. Everything seems to work. That's cool. That's cool. It spins, and we are getting a new submission from... Okay, Atmosphere. I thought we were supposed to do like New Blood stuff. Instead, we got Icon 74 and then Atmosphere. But for real, I see a few new names in the list, so we're gonna get to that. We are. Atmosphere sent this one in as kind of a placeholder or whatever it's called. Should we play Atmosphere? I don't know if it kind of makes sense to skip it when you made the roster, when you send it in and it's in here. I don't know. Let's give Atmosphere a few seconds to see if he wants to reply and said like, hey, skip me. Because in that case, I'm going to skip him to leave room for new people. And there is a delay between me and you and the chat coming back, so let's give him a few seconds to think about it. Atmosphere, What do you feel? Want to skip, or should we do you? We did Icon 74, so I guess it makes sense. And he says, I guess that, yeah. The next track is Atmosphere. The name of the song is Sosdd. Just play the damn beat. Yeah, I know.
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere, come on. I've said this so many times. Atmosphere is so fucking good. This is a strong submission even for him. To me, this is just really good. We all have a lot of stuff to learn from Atmosphere. He has this kind of way of working with tracks that makes it sound so like easy and given, and just, this is what it's supposed to be. And it's not. I guess there's a whole lot of work behind all that. But the arrangement in itself, like switching out the drum sounds and building up different sections and not going too crazy about anything, just leaving room for stuff, so good. The mixing holds everything together in such a high quality, nice, cool way. Big fan of it. Hands down. Really good stuff. What stands out about this one specifically is like, I'm getting the sense of a lot of space. It feels nice and airy without being like overly processed with reverbs and stuff. I can hear reverb whenever you start, messing about with too much reverb, doing it giving it, making it too wet, basically. Mixing it into not too much, and it just feels like it's drowning in reverb. That's not what's happening. But you are mixing it in a way that leaves space for maybe a rapper if you wanted to, or maybe not if you want to, because as a listener, I'm filling up all that space with my own thoughts and ideas, and I'm just dreaming away. That's what's cool about music like this. It feels effortless, and the mixing is on point to the point where it feels airy and open and nice without being empty, if that makes sense. Because sometimes whenever you add too little into a beat, it becomes empty. You're adding a lot. There's a lot of everything in here, for sure. But it still feels airy. Not empty, but airy and light and roomy. Really good. And those crazy drum fills, yeah, for sure. Some stuff like that, makes it all just, again, it breaks up the monotony. Is that the word? It breaks it up. It makes it sound pleasing. The track was allowed to breathe. Yeah, 100%. That was fire, mixing, arrangement, organic, tight music. Hands down, this is really good. Reverb on the snare. No! Dirty 1200. I thought I told you. No reverb on the snare. Never. We've had Atmosphere. We've had Icon 74. It's good stuff. We're setting the bar really high though. Really, really high. Let's hope for some new blood. Someone we haven't heard anything from before. On the next spin, that happens. Yeah, I can do that too. Right now. So, the third beat for today is made by Florek. Okay, the name is Florek and the track is called Flip the Sample Volume 1, which is probably my Flip the Sample challenge I made months ago. And it's not that I can remember every single submission because we had 80 of them. Maybe this is something just, he's been cooking. He's been waiting for an opportunity and he took it. So this is probably a flip of my sample for that entire situation, which could be really interesting. Let's play the track by Florek for Flip the Sample Challenge Volume 1. Let's go. And there's a lot of empty space on the file, but let's just hope that it's silent. I think it is. So yeah, I totally forgot to read the text files that comes with each submission. So let's check this out. Florex says, I know that the challenge deadline already passed, but I used some part of the original, but not all. Some sections have a slightly different melody. Yeah. Though the main context is still very, very similar, some parts have resampling and processing for adding new ambience textures. Change the key to F sharp minor. Tempo to 118 BPM. All made on a DAW. Ableton Standard 12 with stock plugins and mostly free samples and VSTs. Damn, that's cool. And, you know, if you have been a part of this, you should recognize that main sample at this point. And I did, for sure. It sounded really cool, and having someone using my sample in that creative of a fashion is so cool. This really, really busy part, like the super busy section with everything going on being like super electronic and also not, that was very impressive, using that kind of source material plus a lot of stuff you added. Awesome! I don't know if I've been clear about this, but we are doing another Flip the Sample challenge in June. So in a couple of weeks, I guess. It's going to happen again. We're going to do it again in June. With a different sample, of course. And getting the opportunity to hear a lot of people's take on the same sample is such a cool thing. And this is a great example of that. And sure, you didn't deliver it on deadline, but you delivered it today. And that's good enough. That's really cool. I think we had one last episode or the one before that too. And just, you know, it's a sample that is still available on my website. So you can still download it and flip it and make something out of it if you want to. And it's so cool to know that people are sitting somewhere in the world and flipping the same sample, doing something else with it. I maybe want to revisit the same sample again and do something else from it. Really impressive work. Did really love the drum work on this one. But most of all, the creativity of using that source material in this kind of way, giving it this vibe and feel. So cool. So cool. So, Florek, thanks a lot for finishing the track and submitting to this. Had a great time listening to it. And I think a lot of people in the chat room did too. Yeah, Dirty says it. It's sick that so many great producers are in this community. And yeah, I know, it's crazy. So many of you out there are so good. So freaking good. Florek, thanks a lot for sending it in. Thanks a lot for taking the time. Really cool stuff. Different from anything I do, and that's also what makes it even more interesting and intriguing to someone like me. Now, let's spin the wheel again, and let's pick someone else, and let's remember to read the fucking message. It's a whole note connected to each and every submission. That's the wrong button, but this is the right one. Spinning the wheel. The beat review wheel is spinning, and it's picking none other than Nice Guy Bry. Nice Guy Bry. Cool, cool, cool. And the name of the track is End of a Drought. The genre is not specified. And the message goes like this. Hey, Accurate. I hope all is well with you and the chat. Here is a beat I made the other day using chops and one-shots along with a plug-in instrument. All made on the MPC Key 37. I hope you enjoy, man. Peace. Nice Guy Bry. Let's have a listen. Nice Guy Bry, end of a drought. And I know the volume could have been louder. I try to fix it, but sometimes that's just what it is. Some mixes are loud and some mixes are low. Finding the balance there is, I think you heard it. I know I did. I increased the volume on my headphones just a little bit, but yeah. That sample is dope, for sure. And what you did with the sample was also really cool, of course. I mean, I've said that before. Like, just pointing out that a sample is dope is like saying nothing, pretty much. The sample was dope, and your work with the sample was dope too. I have kind of a soft spot for these tiny or small kind of vocal samples whenever you have like, whoa, stuff like that thrown in there. I think that's nice. When you can do it in a way that makes musical sense and it feels good, I'm a big fan. The guitar parts and everything together with the bass line and how that kind of filled up the space without taking too much focus. Because sometimes a bass line needs to be in the focus. It needs to be like loud and super involved and like complicated and 10,000 notes. Sometimes it just needs to be there to fill up the space and hold the ground together with the drums. And that's what you did. And the entire vibe of this thing is like, yeah, it's springtime. We're closing in on summertime. This track kind of had a vibe of that without being too much, happy-go-lucky. Everything's nice, Really good stuff. The drums, the bass line sat nicely in there. The different chops and the different variations of it. It all made sense. It's all nice and good. Sure, you maybe should have used kind of a brick wall limiter or some compression at the end of the signal change to boost up the volume, or mastering, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, really, really creative stuff, chopping up the sample in that way. And again, we're working with loops, like most of us are working with loops, and having different versions of the loops with the same material makes everything just so much more musical and easier and more fun to listen to. And I think you did a great job of doing just that. Nothing crazy happened, like a big breakdown and this super loud, distorted synth. No, that's not what you want, always. Sometimes it is, but most of the times not. You just made adjustments and made some switches on it, so we had kind of distinct different sections and everything worked out really nicely together. Nice Guy Bry with a Nice Guy Bry kind of beat. Awesome stuff. And you made... Didn't I read your message either? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. The MPC Key 37. Good stuff. Good stuff. Puerto Ricanism says, as an MC first, I can always hear how I would approach a given track. In this case, the track is good as it is. The track is good as is. Yeah, 100%. It's a dope beat. Good work. Nice Guy Bry. Give it up for Nice Guy Bry in the chat. Good stuff. Good stuff. Can I be more specific about anything? Well, I think mastering and like getting the volume up to par with other stuff, it's not that important. But in this kind of context, it kind of affects you. Because you hear one track that's super loud and punchy, and then the next one that's as well produced and as good. It doesn't come out as good because it's not as loud. Humans always perceive loudness as goodness. And we're smarter than that, right? We are smarter than that, all of us. But still, getting the volume up there a little bit would have made it punch through in kind of a different way. Well, we have the wheel on screen. Let's spin the wheel. The beat review wheel is spinning and it's picking the next submission that comes from Sanskrit. Sanskrit, and the track is called Vorx. Vorx Shade. VORX Shade. Okay, so the name is Stygian Beats. No, this is now, I'm reading the wrong one. I fucked up. Sorry about that. I'm getting multiple names here. Why am I getting multiple names? I'm not. Sanskrit Vorx Shade. The note is this. Thanks for your review. That's good enough. Let's listen to Sanskrit right now. Nice. James Rockwell says everything is sitting perfectly. And yeah, I can agree. Made So Well also says a little bit less compression maybe? Heat anyway. And yeah, I agree with both of those points. You know, I am a fan of doing a lot. You know, sometimes I work with a sample, then I add this synth and this kind of Rhodes instrument, and then I add a bass line and whatever, and sometimes it becomes too much. In this beat, a part of me starts wondering, this whole string section doing this kind of Arabic, I don't even know the, geographical kind of heritage of stuff. It was kind of a cool addition. I enjoyed it as a producer, as a music maker myself. I know what's going on. But maybe for like a casual listener, maybe that's a little bit too much. Did you really need to add all that? Maybe you did. I think it was cool. It's just one of those things. Sometimes it could be worth like taking a step back and thinking about, hey, is that thing, even though I maybe put like hours into it, is it really benefiting the track? In this case, I think it did, but I think it's a thought to be worth having, if that makes sense. A dope track, hands down, for sure. So cool. A part of me, because I'm sitting here in this kind of context, I'm looking for things to be improved. And I felt like, first of all, like the first, like, I don't know, 30 seconds of it, I felt like, hey, I need some more treble stuff in the mix, because it's kind of on the low mids kind of side, being a little bit heavy. But then you added stuff over time, so it became this mix that had everything. So what James is saying, it had everything, and everything sits in the right place. Yeah, maybe not introduced the way I would introduce the elements in the track, but I'm not right. I'm not here with the answers, not at all. Really, really cool stuff. And I am someone who can appreciate a bass line like that. The small, tiny, short notes and also the long ones, making up for one another, creating this funkiness. That's a weird F sound coming from me. Funkiness. Yeah, that kind of bass line, I really appreciate it. I see what's going on. There's a lot of thought process behind all that. Or you're just like a bass player or knows this stuff naturally. Who knows? Sometimes I talk about the relationship between short and long notes. Like suspended notes and notes with a lot of attack and short release and whatever. I think you did a great job of that entire thing. Like showcasing, this is a cool bass line on this. You did not have to go as crazy with that bass line, but you did, and I think it was all good. 100% 100% right. So, even though the bass line wasn't the main character of this track by any means, whenever you start listening to it and picking it up, you're realizing that, hey, in the entire like rhythm and the feeling and the groove of the track itself, the bass line does a lot of heavy lifting. Can we rewind? I think we can rewind. I should be able to rewind, but I can't. R for replay. Okay. It's replaying the first. Dirty, we need to take a look at this. I can't skip ahead. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. Whatever, we heard the track. You could always rewind the stream if you want to hear it again. I just wanted to point out the bass line. Really good stuff. Hands down, really good stuff. What more can I say? And thanks a lot. Vork's Shade, I don't think we've seen you here before. You delivered high quality stuff. Love that. And thanks a lot for submitting. Thanks for joining the beat review. Now, it's time for someone else to be heard and played, and it's time for me to pick another submission. On the beat review wheel. Adam Wheelie over here. Let's go! And the next track comes from the Doomed Traveler. Doomed Traveler has been featured before. And the message goes, dark boom bap for a Griselda type of rapper. Cool. Let's listen. Okay. So, the 2-minute limit just went out the window. We played the entire thing. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Whatever. You know, the first 30 seconds here, I prepared myself to just crap on this bass sound. Did not like it at first. But then when you started adding all these, pitch shifted kind of piano notes and everything, introducing the real darkness, that bass line grew on me over time, and it really sits nicely in there. Building up this entire vibe to where it becomes almost uncomfortable. It's supposed to be a dark beat, and it is really dark. Borderline uncomfortable in the best way possible. That bass line, the whole really, really worked. And that tells you a thing or two about context, At first I felt that bass line doesn't fit in there. It's too low. It's trying too hard to be aggressive and dark and whatever. I'm not a fan of it. And then you added all these things that kind of combined the entire feeling to fit that darkness. Boom. 100% nice. Thumbs up all day. But it's interesting. It's interesting how you can shift, how your opinion can change over time because of what's happening. And that's why I have a problem with synth reviews or demos when you play this is what this synth sounds like. Because depending on the context, depending on the musical context in which you put that instrument, it's gonna do a whole lot of heavy lifting or not work at all, depending on the context. And that's interesting. That's fun. The punchiness of the drums, the entire vibe of it, the darkness sits in the darkest place possible without being a joke of itself, Sometimes when I hear dark beats, it's you just put everything 2 octaves too low and there's distortion and stuff going on. It's kind of cool, but it doesn't work. This works. Good stuff. Musicality, it works. The sonics, it works. Maybe this one is, if we want to be harsh about it, there was a lot of compression and limiting and whatever, making it aggressive and involved and kind of in your face. I would maybe do a little bit less processing, but it's all a matter of taste at that point. Whatever. Dirty 1200, it takes full responsibility for the playback skipping thing not working perfectly. And he's fixing it right now. You don't have to. I don't need to. Maybe I don't need the possibility to sit here and go back to a track listening to the bass line again for 8 bars. Maybe we don't need that. Maybe we need more beats to be played instead. So I don't know. I just didn't know that it had that kind of bug. Doesn't matter. Dirty. Don't. You need to sleep sometimes. You need to think about your heart and your health. You can't stress up about stuff. But thanks, man. Thanks. Doomed Traveler, thanks a lot for that submission. Street is Watching by Doomed Traveler. Awesome stuff. Now, on to the next submission. Right here. The wheel is spinning. And we are getting a submission from YFGP. The track is called Next Year. And the message goes, peace to everyone, big up Accurate. Nice. Let's go. Yeah. YFGP stands for Your Favorite Ghost Producer. The track is called Next Year. I think I said New Year. Your Favorite Ghost Producer with the track Next Year. This is cool. This is good stuff. We had a lot of jazz vibes in there. And a really cool drum break, taking up a lot of space. I know that snare technically had a lot of reverb on it. But in this kind of context and in this situation, when you're chopping up a drum break and you're using it like that, it's a different thing. I still like my snare sounds dry and punchy, but whatever. When you're working with samples like this, you're working with samples like this, you know? And I think it's funny because when we talk about hip-hop beats and beat makers in general and jazz samples, normally we all take it to kind of the same direction. It becomes jazzy and kind of cool. In this case, I think you hit kind of a different vibe using jazz elements. The whole wow, 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 wow. Super jazzy stuff. And also the backbeat kind of whack, 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 whack. Some of those, whatever that thing was, some of those felt offbeat to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's intentional. I don't know. The track itself, really cool. Those drums takes up a lot of space and gives it a lot of space. And going with that kind of jazzy sound without being 101 hip hop meets jazz. Doing something a little bit darker, a little bit differently, with the bass line sitting in the right place and everything. I think that's interesting. This is one of those tracks that I feel is melodic and musical in a really pleasing way without being I went to music school kind of stuff. Still the vibe and the groove and everything in the forefront, but also a little bit of jazziness, grooviness, Yeah. The tempo, the swing, the feeling, everything. I don't know what to say about that. I don't have a lot of criticism. But this is something we don't talk a lot about. But creating some kind of hookiness or something to remember a beat by is actually kind of an art form in itself. And that sample line, the whole wow, 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 that's one of those things I'm going to remember that in 2 weeks, And creating that and using that in a context that makes sense without being corny about it, it's also an art form. You're an artist, my friend. This is good stuff. I should have quantized them. But why? Yeah, never quantize anything. But if it's offbeat, maybe... Yeah, those are a bit off. Yeah. Sometimes I can discover things. I can hear things. But yeah, I don't have a lot of criticism. I think that's a nice and solid track. But when we think about how a piece of music is supposed to be used or what's the intended use case for the music? Sometimes that's an unnecessary question. It's whatever. But in this time around, I would love to hear a female vocalist singing on top of that. Maybe with a rapper coming in doing a little bit of whatever, but a female vocalist singing on that. The whole handsome boy modeling school, Moloko kind of thing. Something like that. I don't know. The wheel is on screen, which means only one thing. It's time to spin the wheel again. Pick another one. Pick another beat to play. We are now at number 8. This is from DJ Productions. The track is called Old School. DJ Productions. The message goes, finally made it again to your live. 2 a.m. here in Australia. I'm sorry about that. Time zones are what they are. It's not really my fault. DJ Productions, old school, let's go. Yeah. Is Mike? Oh, I turned down the... Oh, hey, 1, 2. That's my headphones. Well, you know what? We all got pulled into this one, I think. Super swingy, super old schooly, super punchy, and super nice. And the amount of energy in this one, you know, you can cut it with a knife, as we say in Sweden. I do have, I mean, this is high quality shit. We are on a really, really high level talking about the details of things. But I do have some complaints about this one. Not that it's not great. It's a great track. It is. But there's something about the mixing or the sample selection or something that's a little bit much to me. Not just the high kind of tempo and the massive swing and everything. That's all good. That's all cool. But there's something about the frequency in this frequency spectrum here that kind of bugs me. There's something going on in, you know, the high mids or the low highs, the mid highs, whatever, that feels a little bit annoying. Some frequency range here that just... It's not that the repetitiveness of the beat section pattern, even though that's the sound I made. That's not what I'm talking about. Sonically, when we talk about frequencies, there's something that's... We need a little bit of a cutout in the higher frequencies somehow to make it feel a little bit rounder and fuller and less sharp. You know, to me, I would also get carried away. Just working on this being like all hyped up and whatever. But maybe it would make sense to lower the tempo just a little bit and scoop out some stuff in the frequencies, in the higher frequencies, to make it sound less. It's really hard to put words on this exactly, but the frequency of becomes irritating after a while. Irritating, frustrating, whatever kind of you want to say. And I heard something like that in here that felt like, yeah, it's always up here. It's always up here. And even, crazy enough, even when you did the whole filter thing, the filter effect, I still kind of had it. I still heard it somehow. I spent a lot of time on the mix stage. I spent a lot of time on the mix stage. I don't know. And I think if you wanted to make something really punchy and like energized and out there, you did a fantastic job. I'm not saying anything else. But there's something a little bit harsh about some of the high frequencies to me that, if you had a whole album or a whole mixtape being that kind of upfront with the highs, I would have a problem listening to the entire piece of work. If we're talking 25 minutes of it. That's me personally. I might be wrong. You don't like the shimmer? I can enjoy shimmer, but there was something about this. Too much shimmer. It's hard to say. And again, let's zoom out. I want to be clear. This is a really dope track. This is so good, well produced in every single way. I guess there's something about the main sample or the mixing choices you made. It's a little bit too harsh to my taste. We're talking details. But there is this one frequency range in this track that makes it I guess the best word I can come up with for this is annoying. There was this punch in the high frequencies that was annoying to me. Could be scooped out with a tiny little EQ curve, just taking down some of the frequencies that sticks out. You need to start over. I can't. Because now when I play it, it plays the entire thing. I can't skip. Whatever. I'm also totally open for being wrong. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my headphones, the volume I listened at. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hear a ton of good feedback. Yeah. I mean, there's so much good feedback to give this one. I don't know why I'm, japping about this one little thing for so long. It's not that important. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just trying to find things to improve. It could be the headphones. 100%. Let's say that. It's the headphones. It's my environment and the fact that we heard other beats before. I maybe listened to it at a too loud volume. I don't know. I might be wrong. Or it could be your headphones. Well, it seems like I'm the only one saying this. So, fuck me. I'm wrong. I'm grown up enough to commit that. Let's spin the wheel and play another track. And let's stop complaining about the small things with some fire kind of beats. The next track comes from Dirty 1200, and he said we could skip that, but I'm not gonna. We don't have, why? Maybe because we've already been live for 1.5 hours. Dirty, let's go. Yeah, Dirty 1200, the programmer of the wheel, the maker of the submission thing. A great dude, all in all. And the message he wrote in was, just send it in to fill the 20 files. Just playing around with my own vibe-coded AU plugins. Nothing special, just the same dirty style. And no, man, this was good. This was good stuff. When you introduced the main kind of kick drum, it all just happened to me. Yeah. Again, high energy, high on the excitement, really cool stuff. Give Dirty some love in the chat room, not just for making this track. It was a really cool track. And I have had, I think I can say this, I have had the opportunity to try some of Dirty 1200's vibe-coded AU plugins. And that guy knows what he's doing. That's all I'm saying so far. Definitely. Dirty 1200 is a nice guy. He's really cool. And he makes music in all kinds of ways with all sorts of things. You know, we saw his studio in the studio review kind of version of the episode of the stream. Dirty 1200 is a crazy guy. Dirty 1200 is crazy. And this track, so busy and so full of stuff, so much things happening over time. It's not just a single loop. He adds on top of it all the time. Great stuff. And a really great guy. But he told me to skip it, and I won't because he is who he is. But I think it's time to move on to the next one. Just because. Just because we've already done this for 1.5 hours and it's supposed to be 2. I'm supposed to play 20 beats. I've played 9. Let's speed this up. The next submission comes from Stygian Beats. The track is called the Mersad. The Mersad. Not sure about that. And the message goes, hope you like it. Let's see.
What you can choose is whether you travel it consciously or stumble through it. Sosdd, place of vigilance.
Man, that's cool. The amount of samples and the amount of stuff thrown into that track is impressive and really cool. The vocal sample, the whole Indian kind of vibe of everything, yeah, really good. My only real complaint here is that I feel like there could be stuff done to the mix. I want more drums in terms of volume, and I want less of the sample to kind of just make everything sit together in a nicer kind of way. Because the drums is the driving force of this track, dum 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 dum, you know, and then the sample needs to kind of fit in there. Right now, I felt like the sample track, even though it's kind of the main character in one way musically, I think it's too loud. That's what I'm saying. But being able to use so many different chops and so many different samples in one single thing is so cool. Everything fit together, pitch-wise and rhythm-wise. Really good stuff. But I do think the mix itself, even though it sounds good, high audio quality and all that, we had all the dynamics and everything, but overall, I would say the main sample is too loud compared to the drums. Maybe you want to do a little bit of side chaining to get some pumping, maybe. Or maybe you just want to scoop some stuff out with the frequency, or just change the overall volume altogether. But it had a cool vibe. It's really nice. It has a nice flow and groove to it. And it's a really creative way of working with samples altogether. Good stuff. The mix needs to be changed. That's my honest opinion, but really good stuff. Sampling, Asian or Indian music like that, sometimes it really, really doesn't work. And sometimes it does. And when it works this good, I'm just a big fan. I think this was great. The track was 1.5 minutes long, and I could have listened to that for 3-4 minutes without any problems at all. And Made So Well points out that it's low end heavy. It is, but not too much. I don't think it's too much. I don't think we have too much low end in this one. But the drums needs to be louder, punchier. So I'm going to try to speed this up. Let's move into the next one. I don't need to go into the details of every single one and talking for 15 minutes about something. No, we need to adjust this. We need to play the beat. I need to have a few opinions. You guys will have a little bit of time to chat, and then we're going to move on. Right now, we're going to move on from Stygian beats to the next one. And the next submission comes from whoever Adam really picks. And he picks Ebzer. E-B-Z-E-R. Ebzer. The track is called Conscious. Okay, cool. And the message goes, my name is Ebzer. These beat reviews gives me something to look forward to and really make my Monday enjoyable. Thank you for hosting and thank you all for being here. Here's a track I released last week I would love some feedback on. I hope I can bring some good vibes to your day. Enjoy. Cool. Let's have a listen. Ebser. Yeah. Now we're like in the artistic space of music. That happens sometimes, and yeah. You wrote something about having a good day. I hope it can bring some good vibes to your day. Enjoy. You know what? It's all subjective, of course. Of course. It's art and it's subjective and whatever. Good vibes. I got a lot of good vibes from like the guitar and the more cute kind of sounds going on. But I also got the opposite feeling of that from this really low stuff going on in the low frequencies with the bass. And that kind of contrast, I have a soft spot for that too. Artistically, like paradoxes are so interesting. So if you took out the entire like bass section, the whole drone going on with the this would have just been nice and cute and, you know, happy and cozy. But then you added this entire like in the lower, and to me that creates this contrast that makes it interesting. And contrast like that always makes you think, like, you know, in two ways about stuff. That's what a paradox is. And that's interesting. Definitely a lot of good vibes, but also a little bit of darkness mixed into the good vibes. That's cool. That's artistic. That's nice. A part of me feels like, yeah, if you want to play this on really like big, loud speakers, I'm not sure how this is going to translate. Are we going to get like, is the lion part of the entire track going to be this low, subby kind of mysterious, dark vibe? Or is all the more shiny, cozy stuff gonna cut through? Who knows? In my headphones right here, I got both of the feelings at once, and to me, That's cool and interesting and fun. Ebser, the track is called Conscious. Cool stuff. Interesting. I never thought cozy, but yeah. I don't know if cozy is the right word, but what I'm trying to point out here is that the vibe of it is contradictory. Might be the word in English. And I find that interesting. It's not just nice and happy and enjoyable. It's also kind of dark and evil and gritty. And that's interesting. Great work. Great job. Great, cool piece of art. Together with those drums and everything, yeah, I like it. Let's move on. Next submission comes from none other than Gray versus Gray. The track is called Let It Hit Them. Let It Hit Him from Gray versus Gray. Another name that's brand new to me. I don't think you've been here before. Thanks a lot for submitting. Thanks a lot for taking the time, being a part of this. Hopefully your track is going to be awesome. Let's have a listen and listen to Gray versus Gray.
Let it hit 'em. Let it hit 'em. Let it hit 'em.
You know, I said I'm gonna speed it up. We played 2 minutes and 46 seconds, so let's move on. You know what? Someone said it kind of brings you back to the old school accurate. And I can see what you're saying. I know, I could have made this. Kinda. First of all, the bass line is better than you think. Raise it in volume. It doesn't have to be hidden away like that. Raise the volume of the bass line because it's nice. Other than that, I think this is just straight up good. The amount of scratching is perfect. Don't add more. Don't take it out. It needs to be in there. And I'm sure it's going to continue here at the end of the track. I think that's good. Classic scratch and samples made in kind of a cool way, being really rhythmical and making sense. Everything just sits perfectly rhythm-wise. That's nice. That's nice. And the whole yeah, it's nice. Straight up nice. But believe in your bass line, allow it to take a little bit more space. I do the same thing always. I always do the same thing. I'm second guessing my bass line, thinking about, am I hitting the right notes? Is it totally in tune? Whatever. It needs to be hidden away. No. In this case, it's solid. Raise it. Be proud of it. It stands out. Gray versus gray. I will increase the bass in the mix. Yes, I think you should. Those really old schooly type of drums works really well in this sound. I'm a big fan of it, together with that scratch. Adding that amount of reverb or whatever it is going on the sample makes sense, and I think it works. I would have done a little bit less of it, making it sound a little bit cleaner, but you never know. You never know why you do the stuff you do, and if I'm even right in having an opinion. Fuck me. This is good stuff. Nice, and this is cozy. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying nice and cozy and friendly and whatever kind of words I'm using. This is the track I'm talking about. It has kind of a spring vibey type of feel, and it just feels good to listen to. I just need to fix a thing. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Not even going to tell you what just happened. Gray versus gray. You're too close to the sun. This is too close to what I try to do. So if I made this, I would be happy, Couldn't have done much differently. That's good stuff. Let's bring it back. Let's bring back the wheel of beat review, and let's spin the wheel. Let's spin the wheel, and it picks Chocolate Boy Swagger. No, gray versus gray. No, gray versus gray. I forgot the message. Hip-hop beat with simulated scratches, sampling old spaghetti western and suspense movies from the 60s and 70s. Now I'm reading simulated scratches. I thought of that. I didn't want to call it out, but it sounded kind of fake. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes. Or maybe not. Simulated scratches, not a big fan. Not being elitistic about it. I'm not going to say much. It sounded good in context. Good. Sorry for missing to read this. Chocolate Boy Swagger, let's read your message first. This is about the track that's coming up. Chocolate Boy Swagger, the name of the track is called the track is called Western. Let me know what you will add to this, if anything. Okay, now we're getting specific. What I would want to add to this. That's a good question. Let's listen to Chocolate Boy Swagger with the track Western right now.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
Chocolate Boy Swagger. You asked what I would want to add to this. You know, to me, you could always add things. You know, you can always add things. You can always add too many things. And sometimes it makes sense to just keep it straight and simple and just go with a strong idea and just let it breathe. In this case, I do think there's space to add something else. I also just want to say quickly, I don't like that snare drum. It's a personal thing. It all has to do with personal taste. I'm not a fan at all of that snare drum. I think it needs to be replaced to something else. The whole flamminess of a snare drum on every single thing. No. Flams has a time and a place, and it's not every single hit. That's my first thing. Me being a little bit harsh, I'm sorry about that, but the snare drum, I have a hard time looking above. I have a hard time not mentioning that. But the track here, the vibe, nice stuff. Someone like me who tends to add too much to stuff sometimes, I would love to hear some kind of top line, some kind of melody or something that breaks it up. Because whenever I've listened to a few loops, sorry, that was a burp. It is what it is. Carbonated Coke. What do you expect? Some kind of top line, some type of melody on a synth, on a string, on a mellotron, on a piano, something like that would add one more layer to the musicality here that kind of makes sense, I think. Less is more, though, as you're saying, Floric. Less is more. But you're asking me what I would add on this. And I would add some kind of top line, some kind of melody, a solo, you know? You have everything. You have the drums, you have the bass line, you have the sample and everything, and also the ear candy kind of stuff you added. And it all works together, for sure. I don't have anything to complain about. Maybe I would want more crispiness, more shine, more like high frequencies. But now we're splitting hairs. Now we're getting into the details. I would love to add some kind of top line. Some type of melody thing that just takes it one step further. You're listening to the beat, the loop plays, and everything is all nice and whatever. And then on top of the track. I think I would like that. I would like that. I would enjoy something like that. Is it necessary to add it? No, it's not. Depending on what you want to use this beat for, it's maybe even too much. But if you're asking me what I would add, that's my answer. It's a nice and solid track. It has a great foundation. I think there's room to add more, but maybe that's a bad choice. But you're asking me, and that's the answer. So far, we've played 13 beats, and we are going to do all of them. If it was 18 or 20, I'm not sure. I think 20. Let's pick another one. Chocolate Boy Swagger, great job, by the way. Great job. Thanks for being a part of this. You have submitted before. It's great to have you a part of this, for sure. The wheel is spinning. The wheel is spinning, people. Oh, the wheel says that it's just 4 more submissions. So 17. I don't know. The next one is Blaze Beats. The track is called Factory Fresh. And it's not let's go. It's read the fucking text. Blaze Beats, where are you? The message is, thank you, thank you, Ak, for having one of the best and genuine beat shows today. Thank you. Thank you. Blaze Beats, let's fucking go. Oh, I didn't expect that. This is cool. You know, when we're talking about having kind of a soft spot for stuff, vibraphone is one of those. Vibraphone is for sure one of those. And short vocal samples going, yeah. Super nice. Of course, we can't talk about this track without mentioning the swing of those drums. You know, in this genre of beat making, I hear a lot of people doing a little bit too much with the swinginess these days. Yeah, I'm going for the J Dilla kind of sound. No, you're not. You're just overdoing the same thing over and over. This was not that. To me, this was really tastefully done. It sounded good. It worked with everything else, because that's what you got to think about. Does the swing of the drums complement everything else? Does it create this whole vibe that everything is a bit off and wonky and swingy? This did fantastically well. Hit that kind of vibe and situation of everything. The bass line, the drums, and that sample, and of course the vibraphone. Yeah, man, this is really good. Really good. Someone could say that there's a little bit too much of the whole, yeah. I don't think so. I think it added a bunch to the track, a bunch to the vibe, and yeah. Really good, really good. I went to Dilla Music School, Andy Mac vibes. I don't even know what that means. Hannibal actually says everyone is Dilla today. Yeah, but having a Dilla kind of swing is not just taking a drum loop and making it wrong, you know. I use the word tasteful a lot in these live streams, I know. But to me, it's a big part of the aesthetics of making music. You have to be thoughtful about things. That's why whenever you see me working on a beat on a live stream, it takes me hours. Because I'm thinking too much about everything and I kind of overanalyze stuff. Yeah, but that's a part of my process. That's what I need to do to make sure I'm not making decisions that are not well thought through, if that makes sense. I'm trying things left and right, and then I decide on a thing and then I go from there. And it takes time for me. I don't have a problem with that. I could just go, yeah, let's do this Dilla thing. Let's just move everything off the grid in a way that doesn't make sense, and it's frankly unresponsible for the rest of the track. I think Blaze Beats did a great job right here. It's nice and swingy, and it's kind of wonky and off. The right amount of off to still make it make sense together with everything else. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Blaze Beats, you have submitted a lot before, and it's always good stuff. This might be one of your favorites, one of my favorites of yours. I'm losing words. This might be one of my favorite submissions from you. For sure. This was really good. Enjoyable, tasteful, nicely done, well mixed, properly balanced. Damn. That's good. Now, on the wheel we have, it's over here. 1, 2, and 3 more beats to go. Let's spin the wheel and take one of the last 3 submissions for today. And the wheel spins and it lands on none other than Cuba L. The track has no title, but the producer is called Cuba L. And the message from Cuba L goes, "Hey, Cuba here from Poland." Maybe it's not Cuba, it could be Cuba. Sorry. From Poland. Actually, I don't have an artist name. There's also no title. I started my adventure in music in 2025. I bought an MPC-1 and a small Arturia MIDI keyboard. That's my second finished beat ever. First one I've done on your challenge some time. The first one I've done on your challenge some time ago. I have many ideas, but usually don't finish them. Anyway, I do small step forward. I hope so. Learning all the time something new. All the best for you and the community. Peace. Cuba L. No title and his second beat ever. He also was a part of the challenge. So that's cool. Let's have a listen to someone who's relatively new to making beats. Could be interesting. Let's check it out. Okay. It ended like that. Didn't see that coming. And you said this was made on the MPC-1 and you have this small Arturia keyboard. Cool. And this is your second track ever finished, and you started making beats last year. Woo! This is good for that. I mean, this is good even if you told me you made beats for 5 years. This is good. Making beats is hard. We forget that sometimes. When we sit here like being all like beat makers and producers, sometimes we forget how hard it actually is for someone who's new to the entire business, hobby, art form, whatever you want to say. Everything is on beat. Everything is in tune. You have all these nice layers of, the drums and the bass and the main kind of instrument, and also this arpeggio kind of synth. It's nice. Someone could say that, I don't know if I want to say this even. Okay. Someone could say that it's a little bit flat. And, I feel bad. This is your second track ever. Good fucking job. Hands down. Good job. I can't say anything else. Good job. Will you develop more of a kind of unique sound over time? Yes. Will you be super comfortable trying things, on the way to that sound? No. Would it suck sometimes? Yes. Will it be awesome sometimes? Yes. What I'm saying here is that for a beginner, you've made beats for a year, let's say something like that, even less. It's incredible to me that you're able to do that using an MPC-1 and just a MIDI keyboard, playing notes in and like doing the whole sequencing and stuff. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I do want to say, what you have to look forward to is developing a sound that's uniquely yours and is kind of replicable between one track and another one. I'm sure you're going to listen to this one in 2 years and think like, yeah, that's good for my second beat ever. But I've developed since then. And you are going to develop. Things are going to become worse, way worse than this. You're going to make stuff that sounds way worse than this. And also way better, more unique, and have like more personality and whatever. And that comes later on. Don't even stress about that now. I think this is good. It's a good foundation for a thing, and I could actually see an artist using that right now. Because of the fact that it's not too busy, it's not like too involved, it doesn't have too many moving parts. It's not minimalistic either. It's just flat out decent. Better than decent. But you know what I'm saying. Long way to go in the end, but it's a journey. It's supposed to be. That's a word from James Rockwell, which is actually 100% true. I don't think my second beat ever made was this good. Same here. My second beat ever was one of the worst pieces of music anyone has ever heard. And no one has ever heard it. Which makes sense. Good job. Good job. Good job. Keep making beats. If you're this talented and have this amount of patience, I guess, to arrange a whole track like that on the MPC-1, making the changes over time and everything, don't stop. Do not stop. Don't stop. Good stuff. Good stuff. You're that new? Crazy. 2 more submissions. Second to last one right now. I also got a new hat and a new tattoo. No one has said anything. The next beat comes from Mutt Dastardly. The track is called Space Cadet. Cool stuff. Mutt Dastardly has been here before, but I think it's been a while. The message goes, a beat using Moog and analog synth plugins or samples. Cool. Let's go. Not Dastardly with Space Cadet. That's the second to last track, so I played the entire thing, even though it's almost 4 minutes long. Okay. I mean, this track itself took us on a trip. A lot of people are talking about, like, you know, video game music, and yeah, it has that kind of vibe and feeling, being like really electronic, having this arpeggio kind of figure as the main section, and then adding, you know, it's cool. It's hard to say what kind of genre we are working in, because it also has this video gamey kind of vibe, a lot of square waves and stuff. I'm not hating on it. It's just different. It has a time and a place. Maybe that would be a video game, you know, a commercial of some sort, a movie, more than a rapper, I guess. But maybe not. Maybe a rapper too. Maybe that could work. I don't know. Super vibey and super nice. And listening to the entire piece in itself, what I said initially is right. It took me on a trip. It kind of, artistically, it had this whole push and pull kind of quality to it. A part of me feels like, working with that kind of sonics and those kinds of sounds in the long run would be tiring. Not working with, like listening to. So if I had an entire album with just those kinds of sounds, I guess I would come out of that experience being a little bit, woo, For 4 minutes, it feels like, is cinematic the right word? Maybe not. I don't know. Really creative, a lot of details thrown in there, but also a nice and solid foundation and groundwork for a track. It's good. Dirty 1200 says, all tracks been fire today. Yeah, I think I agree. We haven't had a proper stinker on this show for months at this point, I think. And by stinker, I'm talking about a track that's like out of tune, all crazy mixed, and just doesn't work. Hasn't happened in a while. We're getting high quality stuff, and Mutt Dastardly gave us one of them. For sure. And yeah, my hat looks worn because I put it under the couch cushion for a few hours to make it kind of, crunchy. All scrunched up. I like that. This section was like standing straight up. I can't have that. My head looks crazy. And the new tattoo sits right there. It doesn't show very well. It's a ghost. I haven't gotten a new tattoo in 5-6 years. I went to this tattoo convention. I got one. No one is stopping me now. I'm gonna get more tattoos soon. I have a lot of weird spaces to fill. This was just one of them, There's a space right here. There's a space right here. That's crazy. That's a lot of space right there. And up here, we can't even talk about that. I've lost 60 pounds. So now I can have maybe kind of a tank top, wife beater. Up. I have space. I'm going to get more tattoos. Maybe doing the hands too. A part of me wants to do the hands. I don't know. Let's see. We need to talk about beats. We need to listen to beats. We have one more submission to go. Let's play it. And just for the fucking hell of it, we're going to spin. Do we have two? No, that's one. I'm going to spin the wheel just because. Spinning the wheel. And the time is 10:20. So I was supposed to stop 20 minutes ago. The last one comes from A-Dem. The track is called Euphoria. I think we've heard this one before. Rings a bell. Who knows? A-Dem, Euphoria. Let's read the message. Hey, Accurate. Thanks for reviewing my beat a month ago. This is another beat from the same beat tape I released last year. I hope you enjoy it. Cool. Let's go. Yeah. That's a different submission. And kind of a cool track to end the show with. For real. Now, I'm not going to be too harsh about it because I understand that this is kind of, it's supposed to be a little bit experimental and whatever. Playing with different time signatures and whatever. And that could be really cool. I gotta be totally honest. This track, I know myself this well. Some days I would hate this. Some days I would love it. I know that about myself. Sometimes I want something easy to listen to. You know, I'm putting on Moment of Truth by Gangstar. More times than I should. Just to, you know, not just a familiarity, but also like, yeah, this is straight up good stuff, nice and simple, high quality, but also like good. But a little bit predictable. It's supposed to be. Sometimes I'm listening to stuff that's way, way out there. And sometimes I listen to stuff that's a little bit in between. So some days I would hate this. It would just not work. There's too much stuff to pay attention to and be, you know, upset about or whatever. Sometimes, some days I would just find this interesting and beautiful in its own way. Now, production-wise, what I want to say that kind of bugs me about this one is we talked about contrast before on another submission, like having the contrast between dark and light, darkness and brightness, whatever. For this one, I think the contrast becomes kind of this mismatch. The main sample and all the melodic kind of elements in here tells one story, and the drums tells a different story. Together, it becomes interesting and fun and cool, but also it doesn't work. That's why I'm saying that some days I would just not be able to get over that, and I would just not be able to accept it because it's too different and it creates this mismatch. And some days I would find it as kind of an interesting and cool contrast, which is definitely a quality of the music. I don't think you made this to be predictable and to make something that's easily enjoyable and just, you know, in that case you would just stick to a straight up 4/4 kind of beat and just, you know, you did this all crazy thing for a reason, and I think it worked to the most part. Now, do I think it's a perfect match between the craziness of the drums and the like beautiful, lush qualities of the main sample? No, I would not have done that. You did. Maybe that's good. I think that's what I'm going to say about it, because there's so much stuff to break down. Is it 4/4? Is it 3/4? Does it switch between this or that? Is it actually 15/16? I don't care. And I don't think you should either, if it doesn't kind of make sense for you. A nice track to finish off with. It's good stuff. Isn't that music in general? Like sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. No, I'm not like that. I know exactly what I like. I know exactly what I hate. This track, I hate it. And I love it. One of the few ones, you know. That doesn't happen a lot, that I feel so strongly positive and negative about something. I feel like quirkiness in rhythm sometimes leans towards a fun and happy vibe. Yeah. It becomes fun and loose and kind of, you know, I can appreciate that. This one leaves me divided. I don't know if that's what you say, but whatever. Interesting, and a fun note to end the show on. I asked you in this poll. I can't see it full screen for some reason. I can only see one. Can I see it on here? I can't see it at all on the phone. Why can't I see it on the phone? I asked you if this is a podcast. The first was, yeah, man, what else? 54% of you said yes. And the rest of you said no. So, kind of a close call. Is this a podcast? I don't know if it is. Is it a radio show? Podcast thing? No. Is it a live stream of me doing beat reviews? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Maestro. With that said, this beat review is over. This week's episode of the Beat Review podcast, no. This week's episode of the Beat Review live stream is over. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks a lot for submitting. And I hope everyone got played. I think they did. I can sort by, let's see here. I can sort by that. I can see that we have a few submissions here that hasn't been played. I'm going to have to think about that. Maybe we're going to do a little bit of backtracking on the... I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to promise anything. It's over. When I decided to import the files into the player, then it's over. It's already been 30 minutes over time, so I think that's it. That's fair enough. Fair enough. We have beats from... We have one... We've played 17, so we have 3 more beats here that hasn't been played today, and I'm so sorry about that, but that's just what it's going to be today. I decided to hit the thing at 17 instead of 20. I could fix it, but, you know, it's already half an hour over time, so I'm gonna keep my promise to myself to not go too crazy with this. And I need to practice. I want 20 beats to take me exactly 2 hours. And I'm not going to put a timer on myself. You know, stopping every beat at 2 minutes and then calculating how long I can talk about them. No. It's going to be more freeform than that. But I'm going to try to speed it up next time to hit 20 beats in 2 hours. So yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm going to do some work on the MPC XL. I'm going to make a beat, and I'm going to fix this beat I have laying around. Not doing anything crazy, just exporting the file and sending it over. And that's one thing. And I'm also going to work on this thing here for a video. And I might have some other stuff coming too. Thanks a lot for hanging out, and I hope to see you guys in the next beat review in 2 weeks. Next Monday, in a week from now, I'm doing another live stream. Maybe just chit-chatting, talking about stuff. Maybe talking about the whole in music, native instruments thing. I still think it's crazy. Native Instruments is now owned by In Music. Akai owns Native Instruments. We need to talk about that someday. Or maybe I'm just going to make a beat next week. Who knows? Live streams every Monday. Every other one is going to be one of these beat review podcasts. Whatever. So yeah. Peace out, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for submitting, being a part of this. Join the Discord. The link should be down below. It's kind of a good place, kind of a cool thing. Whatever. Time for me to actually sign out for real. Peace out. Good night. Love ya. I'm not supposed to end my videos with love